So how's your day going?
Good, good. Stayed up all night last night. Kind of tired. I've just laying around watching YouTube videos all day. That's about it.
All right.
I've been lazy.
So today's interview is pretty much just about you moving to Florida.
Yep.
Okay.
Some Yankee.
Perfect. All right. Start right now. So when and why did you move to Florida?
Moved to Florida because it got so. I was just sick of the cold. The winter before on Christmas Eve night or New Year's Eve night, one or the other, it was 100 below with the wind chill, and we had it, and we said come spring. Actually, we flipped a coin, and it was either Colorado or Florida, and Florida won. And come spring, we headed south. So
Okay. Where'd you come from?
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And it was just brutal winter that year before. Oh,
How was it moving from Minnesota to Florida? You know,
it was look at the difference in like 50 below zero to 100. That's a 150-degree swing.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it is. And but that never bothered me. The heat never bothered me up until just a few years ago. I mean, the heat didn't bother me up until just a few years ago.
That was the only downside.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So
Moving down here, what was the biggest difference besides the cold and things like that? Like
the culture, the people that lived here, it was just again, so many people down here do not trust people around them.
yeah,
In Minnesota, people trust people. They look at it this way: is Minnesota? They'll trust somebody until they can't trust them no more.
yeah,
Down here, it's the opposite. You've got to earn the trust of people down here. That's one thing.
Yeah.
And it was black and white, plain and simple.
Yeah.
You know,
okay. So it was only blacks and whites down here. When
pretty
you moved down
much
here?
in this area, the Spanish hadn't taken over yet.
Okay.
They hadn't, and I didn't notice it until down at the pool one day that there was, a few Spanish people here. And wow, where did these people come from?
Yeah.
But
when you first moved down here, I mean, was there any black people in Minnesota when you lived
Just-
up there?
I had one. I lived in a town of 1,400, and there was one black person that was an adopted child.
So your whole life until you moved down here, you had only seen one black.
No, actually, there was a black person lived next to my grandfather, and he was the only one in that town too.
Okay.
His family. So
Two people you'd
Mhm.
seen.
yep,
That's crazy.
yep,
That's crazy.
yep. That really is.
That is crazy. That is super crazy. But so when you moved down here, what was your idea on black people and white people?
Well, you grew up in high school and you were taught not to be a racist and say certain words and all this and that. And it's easy to say that when you're not living in it. I mean, up there like I said, there was no black people
Yeah.
where I was from.
You don't have any.
So there's no
experience with them.
comparison.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing to compare to. Down here, I've been wronged by some black people. And so
They have a different culture than white people.
absolutely they
Completely.
do.
And, being from Minnesota, you don't think that because you don't ever see black culture.
Exactly.
Not saying black culture is a bad thing or
Not
anything,
at
right?
all.
But
Not at all. And I've had some great experiences with some black people
but
too.
just
So
observing how different it is today,
Yep.
35 years from when you lived up there.
Yep.
And that's a crazy thing, how far it's came with the race thing and all that.
Yep.
But also, how different everybody views and talks about it now.
yep, it is. It's completely different.
Yeah.
So
So you moved down here with who?
my ex-wife.
Your ex-wife? Okay. How long were you guys together before you moved down here?
We got divorced like in our
No, when you got, how long were you together?
oh
before you moved
together
down here?
6-7 years.
6 or 7 years?
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. Before
Okay.
we moved down here. Yep.
So you guys had some time and
Yes.
okay. When you guys made that decision to move down here, what did you worry about anything, not having any family down here? And
She had quite a bit of family down
Okay.
here, man. But I didn't have anybody. I didn't have nothing. I would come down, and we both came down here naked. We
Yeah.
didn't have jobs lined up or anything, so
Yeah.
it was worrisome. But
gotta do what you gotta do,
Yep.
right?
got to get out of there. It was too cold. I was
Yeah.
over it.
When you moved down here, I mean, did you guys have a place to stay when you first moved down?
We moved in with her sister and brother-in-law, and they were just the nicest people in the world. They let us stay there, and our idea was to get in there and find a place and move out. But they welcomed us. They just told us, just stay here, just stay here. We don't want you to move out and all this and that. So we stayed there for like 8 months.
Okay.
So
Man. And how long from the time you guys brought up, like, we should move to Florida, from the point you guys brought it up to the point you actually did it?
it was actually in '83. We'd come down here to visit in the summer or spring or something, and we actually started talking about it then in the spring of '83.
So it took about a year
Yep.
before you guys, okay. And when you guys got here, did you guys have it already lined up with jobs and things like that?
No
or-
job, no nothing.
Man,
We were
that's-
just
got some
fortunate
balls
that
to do
Linda and
that.
Ed let us move in with them because
So there's no plan, just pretty much just let's go to Florida.
yep, emptied our bank account, got a U-Haul, and emptied the house, sold the house, and away we went. That was it.
Man, that's
Done.
I don't know if I could do something like that.
People looked at us like we were like we were crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, I would want to get out of that cold though too. When you were down here, compared when you were on your vacation when you came down here, what was fun then?
Well, then Florida is fun when you're a tourist. You come
Yeah.
down here, and that's all it was. You go to these fancy bars like Rosie O'Grady's had one down there, and you go to the beach, and you go to these just bars and everything. Everything is fun. And then you move down here, and you can't do that.
It runs out. Real
It
fast,
runs
doesn't
out
it?
real quick. Yeah, you
start
money,
dealing
and
with
you just lose
tourists
interest. Yeah. Pretty soon you don't even want to go to the beach anymore. You're like, God, I don't want to go over there. That sucks.
So how long did it take you to make friends and stuff? Because I mean, you moved down here with just your wife, and she's got her family, but I mean, you don't have any friends or anybody.
Right. That
What
was
like?
tough because I'm not one to go out and get up somebody's ass and want to be my friend or
Yeah.
anything like that. But I got a job at Publix. I quit at Meatorama, went to Publix, and that was a lot of fun there. A lot
So it
of
took
time.
a while before you made your
Mhm.
own friends. Besides,
Yes,
Okay, so
absolutely. People,
you-
you just don't trust them.
So who
People.
did you hang out with at that time? But when you were still with, I mean,
My,
you were
I had a friend here in
Meatorama.
St. Cloud here. His name was Freddie Cucurello, and we buddied up real quick. We had some real good times, me and him.
How'd you meet Freddie Cucurello?
Went in there and tried to. I had a small vending business that I
Okay.
had started, and I went in there to get quote on the soda, and he ended up selling me a soda route.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how we.
Okay. So when you first moved down here, though, I mean, how long did it take you to? I mean, were you just hanging out with your wife every day? I mean, what did you do for fun when you first moved
When
down
it
here?
would maybe. Yeah, me and Ed hung a
Okay,
lot.
who's Ed?
Yep, my brother-in-law,
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
ex-brother-in-law. But that was pretty much it. There was I
What did
didn't
you
make
guys
any
do?
friends.
I mean,
Go to bars and
That's it?
drink every night in front of the
how many
TV.
bars were there in town?
There must have been 7 or 8 honky tonks. Yeah,
Honky-tonk?
yeah, the
What's a
Corvette. And
honky tonk?
that's where they play country music on the thing
Like a
all the time.
redneck
Yeah,
bar.
very redneck.
Okay.
Yeah, and there'd be like the main man that, like, there was Ralph Porter and there's Wayne and on another bar.
Bunch of
And
testosterone.
yeah, they're the ones that kind of run the bar, you know. Yeah, they
Yeah.
sit there with a look on their face like they want to tear your head off.
Yeah.
The horseshoe, who's in? Yep.
Alright. And I mean, did the blacks and whites get along? Did they hang out at the same bars?
Yeah, you got along. They didn't go in the same bars.
Oh.
No. The bikers were at the Who's In pretty much, and the Cowboys had the rest of the ones in town. Black people didn't go in the bars in town.
Okay, so I mean, what was your experience of black culture the first? I mean, how was like?
Everybody was nice to me. When I worked at Meatorama, the customers, and like I said, they came to me and wanted me to cut their meat for them, not the other meat cutters that were on. For some reason, they wanted me to cut them, and I found out later it was because I just was nice to them. I thanked them and cut their meat special. I didn't rip them off in any way.
So you worked like towards like the hood, pretty
Mhm,
much.
we're the
Right.
closest store to the hood. Yeah,
Okay.
closest store to Browntown, and all of them did their shopping there. Everyone, all of them. So They pretty much knew me by face, but they didn't know me.
And there was a big separation from blacks and whites at that point.
Yes, I'd say yes, a gigantic one.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what like kind of is so crazy about compared to now, because everybody's just together.
Yeah.
You know, they're not oppressed into a certain area anymore.
Nope.
And
If they want to, they can get out if they want.
Well, I'm saying in this area,
Yes.
there's not a place where they're oppressed to,
Yep.
and there still is places in America that they're
Absolutely there
oppressed
is,
to,
yes.
But I'm talking about St. Cloud and how it was here. So did you ever go out and hang out down there in like
Well-
where the black people hung out?
Well, what happened was,
When did you ever, was there a, how like if there was that separation, right? Like the separation of blacks and whites.
Yeah.
I mean, how did people how did they get like along? Like, I mean, did you ever go down and
No,
how
it was-
did you
it
go
was
down
the-
there?
the reason
Were
why
you
they-
welcome to down there, you know what I mean?
yeah, I was for some reason, because
Okay.
but the reason that they started intertwining was because of crack.
Yeah.
People go down the way, people go down Browntown by crack, and that's pretty much what got the whites and the blacks kind of together down here, because I got my little habit started, and I was going down there, and I'd pull up there and I'd tell them what I want, and they'd throw that, and I'd give them the money, and I'd take off, and, because you're so scared that you're going to get beat up or pulled over by the sheriff's department or
Yeah.
any number of things, and that's how I got to know them and made some
Actually going
friends.
down there,
Yeah.
not just seeing them at work and
Right.
actually meeting them outside of a professional setting.
Exactly.
And seeing
Yes.
how they actually kind of live.
Yep. And
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yep. and they are completely different from when they come in the store and when they're out and
Yeah.
about. So
Yeah, I mean, in a professional setting compared to being actually in their culture is what
Right.
I'm trying to get at.
Yep.
Is when what was it that made you go down there? So it was
the drugs.
So drugs.
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So you would just stop by, get the drugs, and leave.
You would,
And
yeah, you would,
that's all you
you'd
see?
come down there, and sometimes it was real busy, and sometimes it wasn't. It was like Friday nights, of course, and Thursday nights. Publics get paid on Thursday, so a lot of them down there Thursday. Friday was big; 'cause a lot of people get payday on that day. But they had so many cars going out there. There was so much money dropped off in Browntown.
Yeah.
It was incredible. There had been millions of dollars go down through just that little street down there on Crawford.
That is crazy.
It is.
And
Yeah.
how was it down there? Like, how did it look? How was the environment? Was it?
Well, I was
nice. Was it? I mean,
Well, I
compared
was
to where
scared. I had like blinders
you
on.
had, like tunnel
yeah.
vision.
Yeah, blinders on because I just wanted to get that and get out of there. And sometimes I'd go, like I was telling you earlier, go down there 5-6 times a night
Yeah.
and then smoke that crap until 5 o'clock in the morning, then have to go to work at 6 or 6:30. It's
Were you ever worried about getting, robbed or?
all the time, every single time I go down there, I was terrified.
Did you ever get robbed or?
That one time in Kissimmee, I did
Okay.
down in McLaren Circle.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't like people down to the clearance.
No, there I was. Got a knife to my throat practically.
Oh man. So how long did you work at Meterama and before you started working at Publix?
I worked at Meterama in May and quit in October and started at Publix in October.
Okay. And how long were you down here before your wife left you?
That October, we got through Christmas. It was just a little bit after Christmas, and
No, I'm saying how long was it after you moved down here? How long until you guys got?
it wasn't even a year.
Wasn't even a year.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
So,
So that's what makes me think that maybe she had that little plan. She had family down here, and
made you think what? That she had a plan?
yeah, a plan.
Leave you
And
when
she
you moved down
probably
here?
figured that I would head back to Minnesota if so.
All right. So being down here, divorced, by yourself, no family. What went through your head? What was your plan? What was your
It
idea?
was tough.
Why didn't you go back to Minnesota?
I didn't want to go back to the winters. I wouldn't go back to failure, and I just decided one night I'm going to go to work, and I started mowing grass. I actually had some money. I'd built some money up and bought a vending business, and so I was doing the vending, working in Publix, and mowing grass. So I was doing all right,
Yeah.
But mowing grass $5 a yard. That don't add up quick though, but it keeps money in your pocket. So
Yeah. At least you had money coming in.
yep,
And money actually meant something back then.
it
wasn't
did.
worthless. Man, that must have been hard. And then, so that's probably what made you kind of be going down to Browntown, you know, every night, things like that. Just being down here alone, not having nothing to do.
Yeah, you know what I used to do? I had a vending machine in the trailer park, and I go down there and clip off all the quarters out of the change machine and get all the quarters out and roll them up and take it down Browntown. They knew me as like the quarter man.
Yeah.
I'd come down there with rolls of quarters with them and buy that shit with rolls of quarters.
So at this point, you were working at Publix,
Yep.
right?
Yes,
All right.
and they were good. I was fortunate to work there because I didn't have any money to eat, and the meat department ran the deli and the meat department, and my manager let us eat out of the deli for free. And of course, you weren't supposed to do that, but he let us do it, so that saved me. I mean, get that nice big meal every day, guaranteed. So
You told me something about a place called the Corvette Lounge.
yeah, that was a real redneck place, but I'll tell you what, it was the first bar. It seemed to be the first bar that when you moved to St. Cloud, that was the bar you went to because right on the highway. It was,
It has a cool name. I mean,
Right,
Corvette
abs-
Lounge.
absolutely.
Check out.
Yep. Some nights that place was just packed, and he didn't even have a liquor license at the time. He didn't get the liquor license until like 2 years after he was just selling beer and wine. That was it, and he was making it. So
And you said there were people like that ran the place.
yeah, Ralph Porter was on the Corvette
Okay.
Lounge. He'd sit there. He'd have his Budweiser, and he'd like,
So he was main.
yeah, a good pool player, good darts player, and
Alright.
stuff. You know.
Did you guys get along?
Oh yeah,
or-
yeah. Me actually rented a room for me later on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool. Is there anybody else that you knew from the
Wayne Hall ran the Horseshoe. He was and he was probably the best pool shot.
What's the Horseshoe?
That was it's down there in
A
Pennsylvania.
different bar?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's a bar now, but it was back then called the Horseshoe. And Wayne Hall ran that place, and he was probably the best shot in pool in town. He was really good.
Okay. Did you like going to those cowboy bars?
I liked it. I couldn't wait to get in there, and then once you sit down, it's like you can't wait to get out of there. You know, it's that way. And you get there and you realize when you get home after doing it for, a year or so, you realize, that really isn't that much fun. You go
Yeah.
down there, you sit at a bar, and that's pretty much it. You put some money in the jukebox and this and that, and there's fights down there. The one night down the Corvette, a guy stabbed a guy right in the entrance because they got in an argument who had the fastest car.
Over a fucking car?
Yeah, over a car race. I mean, they didn't even race. They just, my car's faster. Oh, no, it's not. Six of them. And the guy died there in the entranceway. And back then, they didn't have a company to come out and scrape that blood. Don, the owner, had to scrape that blood.
Really?
And put it in a bucket and clean it.
That's toxic.
That is
No.
nasty.
Um,
And Don at the time he owned it. He wouldn't let black people in this bar. He made
crazy.
he said the red dots couldn't come in there.
red dot. What's a red dot?
Haji.
Haji.
Yeah, the Indians. They couldn't come in there. Blacks couldn't come in there. But the blacks, anybody didn't want in, they had to have 2 picture IDs, current, running, in date.
If
And
they
that's
were
how
black?
black or Indian.
Okay.
You don't get no Indians in
That's
there anyway.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. That was only 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow. So you going down to Browntown every night? You don't like going to the honky tonks. You don't
I'm
have
better
really,
than them, yeah.
you don't really have too many friends. You have this addiction to crack, and you're going down to Browntown 5-6 times a night.
Yep.
I mean,
No, 5 or 6 times on like one night a week, but the rest
No,
I go down there.
that's right,
Yeah,
that's
but
right.
I'm still going down there 5 or 6 times a week. You know?
yeah. So, did you ever hang out down there, or?
Tell you that one night I went down there, and I didn't have any beer with me or any liquor or drugs or anything in the car, and I decided I'm going to park the car and I'm going to get out, and I'm going to wheel and deal with these people standing up, and I ain't gonna be scared or anything.
Yeah.
And it was still daylight, so that kind of helped. And I pull up there, and this big dude, white dude with a big like red beard and just a goofy looking fuck, opens my door and says, "Come on out of there and let's go party with the niggers. I'm leaving. You gotta take my place." I was like, okay, and I did. I got out and I started talking with somebody there outside the bar, and he knew me. I didn't know him, but he knew me because his wife or mother told me I always cut her meat, and I was real nice to him. And
Yeah.
she said that the other people in there were always so nasty to her.
Yeah.
So,
You probably never thought about it because
no, that's how you're trained. Yes, absolutely. The place up in Minnesota I worked at, this customer service, Publix, of course, is total customers. You get caught telling a customer off and even anything, and you're gonna have a sit down.
But them other people working at probably not Publix, but the other place, Meterama, right? They were
mean.
They were mean. And
Yeah,
you
they were
seen
mean.
it,
That's why they knew me, because
Yeah.
their mothers and their wives would, want me to
Man,
wait
that's
on them because I
insane.
was nice to them and I didn't sell them no crap. That was
I mean, that's probably one of your main customer bases, and you're gonna be mean.
yes. That's
You
I
know?
don't get it. I don't get why they would do that.
It's
They're
fucking-
there to spend money.
Yeah,
You know?
and they're people too.
Yes.
It's like fuck.
Yeah.
But
So I get out of the car with this dude, and I'm talking to him, and he says, "Why don't you go in the bar and get yourself a beer or whatever?" I don't remember how the time, but I went in there, and it is just black. The floors are painted black, the ceiling's black, all the walls are black. There's no windows. If there was a window, they were painted over. The only light that was in that place was behind the bar and the jukebox.
yeah,
That's it. Everything else was just black. And the bar was only about 8-10 feet long with 3 rickety bar stools, and that was the bar. And they had tables off over this way. So, and I said, "Wow, look at this!" And there was quite a few people in there. There was a little dance floor and stuff. And I went in there, went through the thing, and I seen a dude that I worked with at Meterama, a very popular dude. His
white
name is
dude or
no, he was black.
Black dude?
No, there
Okay.
was no. I was the only white person there.
oh, okay.
Augustine Blue, I think his name was.
So there were people that worked at Meterama that was black too.
Yeah, Augustine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Augustine did,
Okay.
and Gino, he was another one. I'll tell you a story about him here in a little bit. But I knew Augustine. He was always really nice to me and showed me, and actually Augustine is tied to this story about Gino. Anyway, I came to work, and Gino, this guy, and he was a little bit older than me, and he was bald-headed already. I mean,
Really?
real naturally bald-headed. He was only like 30, probably maybe 29, and he came and, "Hey, man, payday tomorrow, man. Can you loan me $40?" I
Man,
says, "Okay, yeah." So I gave him $40. He gave a big long story about him and Charlie. Charlie was the owner. Him and Charlie this, him and Charlie that, and yeah, no problem. I gave him $40. And then Augustine came in after his day job. He came in and worked the afternoon, and Gino was there. He said, and the first thing Augustine told me, "Don't give that guy any money." First thing he said to me.
that's funny.
So anyway, go back to the bar, and I go in there, and Augustine's there with his wife, and we're sitting there chit-chatting and talking and stuff, and this dude comes running up to his wife and says, "Come on, baby, let's do it." And I was like, God, Augustine is a pretty big dude too.
Yeah,
He just put a big smile on his face and just nodded his head, and that was the way they were asking him to dance.
Yeah.
Let's do it. And they'd go out there and
so it was completely different than them honky tonk.
Absolutely.
The vibe, the way it
Everybody was
looked, the way
having
everybody
fun.
acted, everything was different.
everybody was having fun. I don't care. There was, well, some on the outside didn't have no money, no drugs. They probably weren't
Yeah.
having any fun, but mostly everybody was having fun in there. And
There wasn't that. Man,
Yeah,
like,
this is my bar, and, don't fuck around me.
People just could do what they wanted. And,
So I was talking to Augustine, and we talked for a while, and then this other dude walks up to me and says, "Hey, you want to shoot a game pool?" I said, "Sure." So went over there, and just as I was gonna get some money out of my pocket and put it in there, this other dude comes over and puts money in it, and it just stands and leans against the wall. and we rack him up, and I beat him. And the guy that put the money in before comes up and gives me $5. He says, "Go again." Well, we did that a couple, and I beat him 2 more times. Then he went to 10. I said, "Sure, I'm up."
Yeah.
And I beat him 2 more times with that.
You
And
think he's probably playing?
I thought he was hustling me. So then he got up and he says, "All right, you want to do 20?" And I beat him 4 more times in a row. And I had never shot pool like that in my life. I was so on. It was like I was like major focused.
in that flow state.
Yep, it was like it's like playing basketball and you can't miss. It was
Yeah.
like unbelievable. Every shot was going in. So at the end, I'd beat him 4 more times. The guy owed me $80. So he comes up and he's at the end of the pool table, and he reaches in his pocket and he pulls out this bottle of money and he lays down 420s, and just stands there and talks to me a while.
Yeah.
And just talks about
You
pool.
didn't think he was gonna pay you? You
Yeah,
just played
yeah. I
for
thought
fun.
he said, "Get the fuck away from me, man,
Yeah.
cracker."
Yeah.
But he put
You
that
paid
money
up
out
and then
and talked about taking that guy on the road to go shoot pool on the road. Now, man, well, good
They
luck
used to
with
do
that.
back then?
What's that?
They used to go on the road and play pool.
Oh
right?
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Man.
yeah. There was movies about that.
Yeah.
But I thought, well, good luck with that, because I thought I was being hustled on the $5 games, and as soon as he got the money up, he was gonna,
Yeah.
beat my ass. But I beat him every single game, like probably 10, 11 games in a row. I beat him,
Yeah.
and he kept putting that money in, and he paid me. So we talked a while and talked about pool, and this day he said my eyes were so good, and he was just telling me how good I was in my positioning and everything, how I had the English on the ball and stuff. So then I said, well,
That's
Hey.
that's kind of crazy because
It is.
and it was genuine, right? It
Mhm.
didn't feel like he was doing it. to get
it wasn't
someone out
lathering
there.
me or nothing. He had no reason to lather me. He was in
Yeah.
his, yeah.
And compared to how it is at the honky tonk bars, I mean, nobody wants to talk. Nobody wants to give compliments, probably,
Nope.
right? Everybody's just like probably dissing each other and
Yep.
just being a-holes,
Yep,
right?
you go by
And then
on
you
the other
go
side of the
down
bar and
to-
say, "Hey, Wayne."
Yeah, you go down to the other side of town. It's a completely different culture
Yep.
that that is told and oppressed, and they're the ones having fun. They're the ones that are showing respect to you,
Yep.
and
Yep,
it's just
you're
that's
absolutely
a
right.
crazy,
It was
that's a crazy look of how things were and how the people think about the hood back then.
Yes.
Blah blah blah, and the crack epidemic.
but they came up there to have fun.
Yeah.
And they walked in and they wanted to have fun, and they did. So we got done, and I said, "Well, I gotta go to the bathroom," and I went off to the bathroom, and I didn't know what to expect in there, but oh yeah, I'll go back. The owner of this place, he's no longer. I don't know what happened to him, but he only opened when he wanted to, and he only opened at night.
Yeah.
And he only opened when he wanted to. Might be 2 days a week. It might be 5 days a week.
Yeah.
That's the way he ran that business. And I guess maybe if people called him up and said, "Hey, I'm going to group in tonight. You want to open up the bar for us?" I don't know how it went, but he had it.
If the trap had drugs, we were
Yeah,
like drugs, we weren't up for
about a month or something. You never know. So I went into the bathroom, and it was clean. Everything was pretty clean except for the beer cans that were stacked and stuff, and they all had, they were all smoking crack out of them, and they put the 5 holes and put cigarette ashes and smoked their crack out of them. But other than that, he kept it real clean in there. So
you just hung out there that night
Yep.
and had a good time.
I had a super
It
time.
opened your eyes to probably a completely different outlook on, their
It's
culture,
how they kept-
how they are. I mean,
Yep, and everybody that had anything to do with Mead Ram and did their shopping or anything, they knew me, and they knew me as a person that
showed
respected
to
them. Yes, yes. So, well then, later on, I got and I went outside, and
After you play in the pool, right?
yep, that was all done. Yeah, we're all done with that. That guy paid me and everything.
Yeah.
So I had some extra money, and now I'm gonna go outside and I'm gonna get my stuff. I'm gonna go home. I think.
Yeah.
So I go outside, and some other guys that knew of me, I didn't know them from Adam. I may have waited on them or whatever, but they knew of me, and they struck up there. Everybody was so happy, and there was fires. Little fires going on all over. Everybody had their own little fire, it seemed,
Yeah.
and I don't get that. Never did get that. But here comes this little nigga coming across the street, big fucking smile on his face. Here he comes running at me. "Hey man, you want to buy some beer?" Sure. How much? He says, book and a half. Okay, I'll take 6. And so he runs back across the road, comes back, running back, and I pay him, and I start handing out a few beers around, and I've got like 1 or 2 left on the thing, or drinking beer out there. But I'm
How old was the kid?
maybe 18, 19. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a young man.
yeah.
Okay.
And also, I remember in the bar, this set of twins, the twin girls.
Yeah.
They were beautiful and
Beautiful.
yeah, beautiful
black
girl. Yep, and they were twins, and all them guys were just wanting to talk to them and everything. But I had to bring that up because if anybody sees it, they'll know who I'm talking about. And twin
Yeah.
girls, real pretty.
The 2 top girls down there
Yeah.
that everybody wanted to.
Yep, and they were sisters, and they. But anyway, get out there, and this guy says, "Hey, you need anything?" And I said, "Yeah," and I told him what it, and I got that, and what was it? How did a guy came up and asked me if I wanted powder. That's what it was. I says-
Okay.
and I had won some money. I says, "Yeah, I'll take some powder too." She said, he says, "You got to come across the street to the building over here." Yeah, I mean, oh, well, everybody's been nice to me so far. I don't know what I should do. But I went ahead and I went over there, and I didn't know what to expect, if I was going to get rolled or beat up or if everything's going to go fine.
Yeah.
So the guy comes up and knocks on the door for me, and he runs off. And the lady opens up the door, whacked out girl and and there was other things. I listened to these people when they, or some of the people that were talking, and they talked to one another with that ebonics and
Yeah.
all this and that. And the girl says, "Come on in." And I walk in and I see the walls of, this is a triplex I'm in. It's a triplex, three apartments around a circle, and the walls had caved in between all the apartments, and you could look over there, and that one had caved in over there, so all 3 of them
were in one.
yeah, you could crawl through them all and stuff. And there was wires and stuff. And the kids, there had to have been 12, 15 kids, up there playing in these bricks and stuff and crawling between. That was so funny. And this girl says, "Don't worry about them." But they had electricity, they had TV going and lights, but all the walls were like caved in. All the bricks were all over the floor. So
That's insane.
yeah. So I'm sure them buildings ain't there anymore. But so she said, "What do you need?" And all of a sudden, this other girl comes slamming in the door. She said, and she was saying, "That's my cell. That's mine." She said, "What was that?" She said, "This nigga bitch all up my business. This nigga bitch all up in my business. She don't bring no up to her." So and the girls, they sell the girls sell the powder, and the guys sell the rock, I guess. So that was funny too, and they sold it in aluminum foil.
Yeah.
Little things like this. So that was fun.
So
I
you
came
didn't
up.
get robbed.
I think
you didn't get-
everything with it was they guys. Oh yeah, I came back out there, and I looked down the road, and it was either a Thursday or Friday night, and it was dark by then, and all the way down almost to the highway, there was people parked alongside the road, and I said, "What is that?" And he said, "That's all the people come down here." Yeah, people are coming down here to buy their shit.
Down?
That's how busy it gets down here.
Man, that's crazy.
It is, and but golly, you don't want to fuck this up. You've got a lot of money coming in this area. And he says, "Yeah, we police our own. And we
Yeah.
catch anybody selling, Safeguard or little rocks or
Getting off on people claiming
Yep.
making bad word for the place.
yep, anybody selling anything that's not crack is going to get taken care of. We police ourselves." It was a longer conversation than that,
Yeah.
but they took care of that. And
So after you had left that night, and you got the powder, you left.
mhm,
I mean, did you go back down there and hang out?
a few times I did, but I never seemed to hit that same vibe like it was that night.
Yeah.
That everybody was out. Everybody.
probably also because it was your first time experiencing
Mhm.
something like
But
that.
there was so many people. I
Yeah.
couldn't believe how many people there were, and I never got that same amount of people. That was, but and the other time, going back to policing themselves, they didn't get to police these guys, but these boys sold these cowboys some Safeguard soap for crack, and
Yeah.
they got back in town. Must have found out it was safeguard. So, and they came down there and shot them 2 niggas right there by that school, or I don't know what it is now, but there was a school out there then.
Yeah.
They shot them right there in the
In the
schoolyard.
hood. Just
Yep.
went right back down where they were and shot them.
Shot them dead, both of them.
Over
Yeah.
how much crack?
Cowboys maybe pops maybe $100.
$100
Probably.
crack, and they would have killed somebody
Yep.
for it.
No,
Man, that's insane. I mean, just thinking about how different the culture was in the time frame
Mhm.
and how it was compared to Minnesota to here, and just the eyes. I mean, how you got to see both sides of it, and then
I did. I really
and
did. Yeah.
then pretty much being naive to actually being in
it.
in a black neighborhood in a triplex where all the walls
All the walls,
buying
that's
cocaine from
unbelievable.
2 black women. Like
And they worked it. They worked it like the guy would come and knock down the door,
Yeah.
and then ran away. He had done his part.
yeah,
It was so cool how they did it.
yeah. It was just completely different, something you'd never think of, or
It
probably
was.
like a movie.
It was. You could have made a short film on that night for
Yeah.
me. It was one of the best experiences of my life, and opened my eyes to many things
Yeah.
because.
You don't go and experience it, what it's like down there,
Mhm.
or actually see, talk to them people and get a one-on-one with any minority
Right.
group. You're gonna just believe what you hear.
Yep. And the other thing about going down there, don't ever use words that you don't know what they mean, and don't try and
Act like you're one.
don't act, because they'll pick up on it real quick. They'll
Yeah.
know who's fakers and
Yep.
all that crap.
Yeah,
Believe
they
me.
don't deal with that stuff down there.
If you're a retard, act like a retard,
Yeah.
because they'll have more respect for you. You know.
Just be straight up.
Yep. Absolutely.
Man. Well, that's a really good story, man. Definitely gonna have to.
Yeah, we gotta get some. Yeah, we'll have
Again.
some more stories next time. Yeah, that'd be.
Man, I really like that. I mean, how different it was. I mean, just
Mhm.
and how you got to see just 3 different ways of how living and the way people think. I mean, people.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to get it into words right now. I
Mhm.
really can't, but maybe I'll do a overview over at the end of this. But man, this was a really good interview. I mean, I hope we can do something like this. Maybe that
Absolutely. I'm big up.
67-year-old talking about how it is now compared to you growing up. You completely different. So
Yeah.
thank you for jumping on and
All right.
first episode of this. And
Sounds good.
Hope to have you back.
Right on. Peace out.